Yo, what's up, guys? It's TB. We're talking about My Hero Academia Vigilantes, volume number 3. We got it here, and just like every other volume, I want to start it off with the definition that they give us, because typically the definition that they give us is usually the theme for that volume. And this time, it's professional. A person engaged in a specified activity as a main occupation rather than a pastime. So this person should know what they're doing. I feel like that's really important because we get 2 new characters that are introduced into, the world right now. And that's Makoto and Captain Celebrity. You saw me pause there a little bit for Captain Celebrity because once we get to him, you're going to realize I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I feel like he's the worst representation for what a hero should be, which is kind of actually a good thing because we've never seen a bad hero before. I feel like My Hero Academia and even Vigilantes is like they're either a hero and they're good at what they do, or they're not a hero, they're a villain. Obviously, it's the complete opposite. But Captain Celebrity, he's interesting. First off, let's just go with Makoto. Makoto is the sister of Namasa. I haven't really mentioned him yet, but in My Hero Vigilantes, there's a detective who's also trying to figure out where is trigger coming from, who's selling it, who's dealing it, how did they get to the bottom of, dealing with this situation that's plaguing Naruhida that they're in right now. And this is his sister. Her quirk is really interesting, actually. Basically, she's able to tell if you're lying or if you're telling the truth just by touching you. So the way she gets introduced is Koichi is having some trouble in school. Obviously he's studying for his test, and she notices this, and I think she has a clue as to who she is, but she didn't really say anything right away because obviously that would give away like her motive. So she introduces herself. She's like, "Oh, I'm your upperclassman," because she is in school too. She's practicing. Obviously, she wants to go into law. She might want to be a police officer or a detective, just like her brother. And she's like, "Hey, how you doing? Looks like you need some help. If you help me, I'll help you." She's doing her thesis on, I think it was on vigilantism, actually, ironic enough. She's doing her thesis on it, so she wants to talk to the vigilantes that currently exist within the area that she's going to school right now, which is obviously Pop Step, the Crawler, not the Crueler, that's really important, the Crawler, and Knuckle Duster. So he agrees to help her, walk around the city that he lives in, talk to the people who are around there, stuff like that, and she's gonna help him study. So that's how she gets introduced into there. After she helps him study for a little bit, we get a little bit more of a dialogue between Knuckle Duster, Pop Step, and Koichi, which is a good thing because honestly, I feel like he hasn't improved that much yet, which will change by the end of the volume, which is great. One of the things that I really like about Koichi, which is one of the things that I like about Midoriya in this, one of the reasons why they're the main characters, right? We want to see them improve, we want to see them evolve, we want to see them use their quirks in different ways that they never even thought was possible. And when it comes to that, the next important person that we need to talk about is Captain Celebrity. Captain Celebrity kind of comes out of nowhere. He's actually not a hero that's from Japan. He's from the USA. He self-proclaimed maybe, because according to everyone else, he's really not that great. He's one of the top superheroes from the USA. He moved to Japan. He wants to make a name for himself. So obviously he goes to try to take care of whatever villains are around. Koichi and his group are out there trying to take care of villains because they're trying to find out where Trigger is from. They run into Captain Celebrity, and the type of person that Captain Celebrity is, he's just the biggest douchebag, man. Basically, he only saves people if he thinks it's gonna make him look better. If it makes him look good, then they're worth saving. Sometimes he's with Koichi, and like I remember this dog was in trouble, and he was like, "Nah, that's not really my style. I don't really go and try to help cats that are stuck in trees or dogs that are, in trouble or anything like that." And then something else happens, a villain pops up, and he's like, "Oh, okay, this is my style now. I can save the day. I can get all the accolades. I can get all of the media on me." And obviously, that's the type of hero that Stenhall, Stain, would want to kill because he's a fake hero. He's a sham hero. Someone who doesn't really do it for the love of it or the desire to help people. or make people's lives better. He's doing it for the money, the accolades. His name even kind of suggests that. Captain, celebrity. He wants to be a celebrity. He gets his later though, because he gets knocked down a peg a little bit. But we'll get to that in a little bit. The next thing that happens that's pretty important, and it gives us a lot more insight into Koichi's life before we see him like as an adult. He's not really an adult now. He's like a young adult, I would say. His mom comes to visit. His mom comes to visit him, and he's like, oh, we got to make sure everything's perfect, everything's great, because if everything's not perfect, my mom's gonna worry about me, and I don't want my mom to worry about me. And you would think that there would be sort of parallels between Koichi, since he's the main character, and Midoriya, since Midoriya is the main character and My Hero, but there really isn't. I feel like Koichi's mom is the complete opposite of Midoriya's mom. We know the story of Midoriya, right? When he was young, he was waiting for his quirk to manifest. He never manifested. They went to the doctor and he was like, sorry boy, you don't got a quirk. And his mom was like, I'm sorry, you're asking me if you could be a hero. I'm telling you, you can't. Realistically, you can't, because you don't have a quirk. If Midoriya had a quirk, you bet his mom would be, making sure that he has everything he can to live the type of life that he wants to live. Basically, what I'm saying is she'll be supportive. Koichi's mom is not supportive. The moment that being a hero is brought up at all, no matter the context, she's like, nope, I don't want you to do that. Just be a regular citizen, follow the laws, follow the rules. She does not want her son to be a hero, because she thinks that heroes are only good to be used up and then thrown away. That's paraphrasing what she said, but basically she's not on that side. So Koichi wants to try to impress his mom, kind of fool her. So he's like, oh, I got a girlfriend, I got a job, I'm in school, everything is great. Guess who's gonna be his fake girlfriend? Makoto. Yep. And I feel like she fills the part pretty well. Obviously that doesn't fool his mom, because she's like, no, she's too perfect. She's too good for you, basically. Didn't even have enough faith in her own son that he can get a good girlfriend. Kazuho, well, Pop Step happens to show up as well, because he told her that her mom was gonna show up, so he shows up. She shows up, sorry, not he. Thinking that she could fill the role of the fake girlfriend, but obviously Makoto's already there. She's like, oh, who's this? And then she tries to explain like who she is, who's her friend. And after she shows up, Knuckle Duster shows up, but not in the normal like attire that he usually is. His get up, his outfit, where he's gonna go beat the crap out of some villains looking for some trigger. He shows up like well dressed in a suit, hair slicked back, and he's like, hey, I'm working for a non-profit. We are going around trying to make our city a better place, which is basically telling the truth, except for the whole vigilante thing. He sort of leaves that out, which is funny because they all buy it. Makoto buys it, his mom buys it, even Koichi and Popstep are like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty good. Like, that's a good way of explaining what we're doing without actually saying what we're doing. So after that, his mom wants to stay for a little bit to make sure that things are really going well. So they plan to go to, let me see how you pronounce this place. Asakusa? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Because again, Japanese names, words, cities are really hard to pronounce for someone who doesn't really know anything about that. They go to the city. His mom wants to be, showed around. They go with Makoto, Koichi, and them. Everything seems to be going good. He even manages to pick up a limited edition All Might hoodie, because he's always on the lookout for those. There was one there conveniently for him because he wasn't carrying his own. And then who shows up? The villain. Yep, Queen Bee shows up. She's wreaking havoc. There's some times where she shows up and I don't mention her because I feel like that's something that you would get when you read it, but she's always there. You never forget that she's there, because whenever they're not focusing on the tree, they're always focusing on her. She's always there in the background, giving random people trigger, waiting to see what's going to happen to them, how will they react. She's basically gathering data of how people react. Can she use someone? Are they able to take advantage of their quirk being boosted and still, maintain, a regular, personality or not? She's still kind of mysterious. She's out there, but she's making sure whenever she does her thing, she's not going to get caught or anything like that. Well, she's in Asakusa with the rest of them right now. Strangely enough, she gives the quirk boosting drug trigger to a cat. and then the cat latches onto this bus. It kind of looks like Totoro, like my neighbor Totoro, you know, the bus cat thing. It kind of looks like that actually. So obviously there's people on the bus starts going crazy. It starts going off this road that's under construction. The road that's under construction ends after a certain point, so the bus now is basically on a one-way trip off the freaking cliff, and everyone that's on it is gonna die. There's not too many people on it, but one of the people that are on it is Makoto. Makoto's on the bus. Koichi has got his mom off the bus. Everyone is fine, but they need to stop the bus. So what happens is Ingenium comes, because he's not too far away from when the bus is, and that's when things really start to heat up. Ingenium runs into Koichi, because obviously Koichi is not going to just sit around and do nothing, even though, you know, he's not allowed to use his quirk. I feel like he always uses it when he feels like someone's in trouble and needs to help. Obviously Makoto's in trouble, she's on the runaway bus. Ingenium is trying to slowly get people off of the bus by running, of course, but he can't run forever. Eventually his engines will, you know, get too hot and he won't be able to run. But actually the thing that helps him with that is juice, and I forget how Koichi knows that, but he knows that. I think they talked about it at one point. So he ran and caught up to him, gave him some juice so he could run a little bit longer, and then they go back and forth trying to figure out how they're going to catch up to the bus, how they're going to get her off. And time is running out, so as soon as the bus is about to go off the cliff, Koichi's like, if I attach myself to the bus, take her off the bus, then jump, maybe everything's going to end up alright. So they do that. That's the plan. And Ingenium catches up using, you know, Reciprocal Burst, which is actually something that we saw Ida use. So that was pretty cool. We get to see that again. And then Koichi does something that we have never seen him do before, which is something called Force of Will Acceleration. It's probably the coolest thing that we've seen him do so far. We see him for the first time just basically use his quirk in a way that we're not used to seeing him use. Basically he did like a double jump. He was not able to reach Ingenium, so he used his quirk, he uses Force of Will to boost himself even further than he thought that he can go. And it's great, it's amazing. He catches up to Ingenium, Ingenium catches Makoto, and then he basically falls to the ground. But whenever Koichi falls to the ground, because of the training that he got from Knuckle Duster, he falls with style, which means he may get hurt, but he'll be alright, especially since his quirk allows him to slide and glide. It's not like Pop Step. I'm pretty sure if Koichi falls from like 100 feet, he'll still get hurt, maybe even die. But it wasn't that bad. So that's great. That's basically one of the most important things that happened in the whole entire volume. Now I want to talk a little bit about, at the end of the volume, there's 2 chapters, there's specials. I'm not going to spoil them because I feel like it's a special treat. It doesn't really advance the plot in Vigilantes all that much, but I feel like they're pretty cool. It's basically a home to pro heroes come for a special meeting, and some pretty cool stuff happen. But you know, look out for that at the end of volume, what is it, volume number 3, there's 2 special chapters. I think you'll like them. And that's pretty much it for volume number 3. There's not as much to talk about as I thought there would be, but it was still a really good volume, and we got to see more of Koichi doing his thing. I love to see characters grow, especially in My Hero Academia, because it's like their superpowers can do so many things, and we never know how they're going to take it or what they're going to do with it. Someone that actually is not in Vigilantes, but I'm hoping to see him grow a little bit more, is Bakugo. When Bakugo uses his quirk, I feel like he uses it in just the normal way that it would work, which is just explosions coming from his hands. We see him develop new moves like AP shot, but like I want to see more from him, more different moves, more special moves, more like, we know he could fly if he keeps on using his explosions. Like I want to see stuff like that coming from Koichi. So yeah. Alright, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. It's coming real soon.